know, we were talking about what Democrats needed to do, and President Obama had a blunt message for Democrats at a private fundraiser in New Jersey over the weekend. Toughen up, he says. Democrats need to speak out more forcefully against you-know-who, that they should stop looking for a messiah, and it's going to require less navel-gazing and a little less whining. Now, billionaire Mark Cuban also took aim at political messaging on the left. Take a look.
We picked the wrong pressure points. It's just Trump sucks. That's the underlying, thought of everything the Democrats do. Trump sucks. Trump says, the sky is blue. Trump sucks. You can't, that's not the way to win. It's just not, because it's not about Trump. It's about the people of the United States of America and what's good for them. And how do you get them to a place where they're in a better position?
Okay. Yeah.
Now, I don't disagree with Mark Cuban even a little bit, because Mark Cuban is basically, and I don't want to ever try to give Democrats a leg up how they can market themselves more effectively in the eyes of the people, because they just getting their ass kicked on every single front. But I don't always agree with Mark Cuban. But Mark Cuban absolutely is correct, is that the Democrats' entire identity is anti-Trump. They have marketed themselves that way. They can't wait for him to say something, but all they're doing is effectively promoting the possibility of somebody researching to better understand exactly what Trump's message is and what he stands for, which the overwhelming majority of us that have defected away from the Democratic Party, including myself, which I did a long time ago, but either way, I got off the Democrat plantation, was I kept trying to figure out why people kept telling me that the Republicans are bad, and it led me to do my research to realize that they actually more or less closely align with the values that I have for my family, especially when it comes to the alphabet community, men going in women's bathrooms, when it comes to conservatively actually making sure that people can't take out student loans and giving back student loan forgiveness, how we using our tax dollars. A lot of people are scamming and money going out the window when it comes to the Democrats really being supporters of war and all of this. I didn't align with anything of the current Democrats. And so what they basically did was they started to market themselves as the anti-Trumpers. And all it did was make him bigger than ever, because they were marketing him instead of marketing their own thoughts and ideas of how they can actually help the people and help the country. So Mark Cuban is not wrong at all. And I'm curious as to what Whoopi Goldberg is going to say right here.
Okay, so let me remind everybody who was out in the front lines marching when we had the giant marches that went on. It was the people. The people went out. They were not navel-gazing. It was older people who were saying, why are you touching my Social Security? It was not people whining. It was about people saying, why are you taking these rights from my child when my child was born here? This has not been about Democrats laying back. This has been about y'all.
This is proof, ladies and gentlemen, that we got to get these actors off TV, because if they're not reading a teleprompter, and if they start to give their own thoughts, they look crazy. They look senile. They look like they're out of their mind, and that they can't put together a coherent thought, because nothing that she said had any relevance whatsoever to what Mark Cuban is trying to communicate to people. Let me say this again for the people in the back. Nothing that Whoopi Goldberg just said is relevant to what Mark Cuban was trying to communicate to Democrats on how they need to pivot and how they need to have a better platform and things and issues that they actually stand for how they communicate, and how they need to toughen up to listen to the people so that they can be more effective in these elections. Nothing that he said resonated with her. And this is why I don't argue a lot of times with Democrats. Whoopi Goldberg is the equivalent of a rapper giving their political opinion, but just because she's on a show doesn't necessarily mean that she knows what she's talking about. This is why I don't sit here and go back and forth. I don't debate no more. If y'all notice, I don't do debate shows. The only thing I do is I do my own panels where we give our own opinions and thoughts, and I argue with my friends like we in the living room. But when it comes to people that I don't know, and Democrats, Anton, you should debate this person, you should debate that, I'm done with that, because people listen to respond. They're not listening to understand. She's talking about the people that's on the front lines, and all. That don't have shit to do with what Mark Cuban is trying to tell y'all. And this is why y'all keep losing. This is why, because I will tell you, Whoopi Goldberg is probably more conservative than she realized, but because she's been indoctrinated for that's what she's supposed to be, or because she hates Trump so bad, then she don't even understand what it is that she's saying. She's just saying a bunch of stuff.
This has been about y'all, because their messaging was always
People don't
the
even
same.
want to clap.
Democrats have been angry at what this man tried to do the last time. They've been angry this time. So I, with much due respect to you both, I believe you are pointing the finger at the wrong person when you say Democrats.
Are you delineating between voters and elected officials?
Yes, I am.
You're saying that, because I agree, voters
Yes.
are very impassioned.
Voters, and when you say Democrats, he's talking
Look
to
at the
us
white
saying
woman trying to give her
our
some insight.
messaging
She don't
is
wanna
bad. And I'm
listen.
saying, no, our messaging has not been bad, because people have been out.
Well,
people have been cranky.
I agree with you. I was
yeah.
in one of those protests,
I know.
and I saw little children, I saw older people, I saw people in wheelchairs, I saw all sorts of people gathering together and protesting, despite the fact that we are living in a country where there is retribution. There is retribution if you post. There is retribution. There's, there's a lot of fear. And I do think that there are things that are working. I agree with Obama that people can't wait for a Messiah, and people aren't waiting for a Messiah. People are taking it on their,
Yes,
on their own. Listen, right now,
This is so dumb.
Trump's handling on immigration has gone dramatically down. He's down 7 points in the Fox poll, 8 points in Ipsos.
Isn't that funny? I just looked at Bernie Sanders do an interview with Anderson Cooper where he said he agreed with Trump. Think about this for a second. Listen to what they're saying. They are defecting away from what Obama, and I hate to say that I'm actually agreeing with Obama here, they're defecting away from what Obama is trying to communicate to Democrats and legislative officials, and what Mark Cuban is trying to communicate as far as the messaging and the platforms that they stand on. And they're still saying the same. This is why Republicans don't have no problems, because we ain't got nothing to worry about. They're going to keep doing the same thing, getting the same results, and that is the definition of insanity.
16 points in Quinnipiac, 27 points in Gallup. Why is that? Because he's trying to tell the American people that he's putting psychopaths and gang leaders and hardened criminals in jail. And because the American people have taken it upon themselves to amplify the truth, to show up and protest these horrible, inhumane raids, to tell the truth about what their relatives are going through. Because we have seen the story of the 9-year-old U.S. citizens selling tamales in the streets of LA because they are stepping in for their street vendor parents who are too afraid to leave their homes, because we have heard the story of the U.S. citizen children with cancer.
They just completely got away from the entire message. Completely got away from what it, because they just ranting, they just talking. This is how delusional these people are. But I'm not tripping about it. I don't think it's a bad thing. I want Democrats to keep doing what Whoopi is saying. I want Democrats to keep doing what all of these women, these lunch ladies that's sitting up on The View are saying. Don't listen to Mark Cuban. Don't listen to Obama. Don't listen to any of these people that can probably help you with your marketing strategy. Go ahead and argue amongst each other on how you need to do things. And Trump is just going to keep winning. He's just going to keep winning. Republicans are going to keep winning. We're going to keep fixing the country. We're going to make this country better. And I think that it's going to be beneficial for us. So I'm not tripping. I'm with it. I'm 100% in. Let me know what y'all think inside of the chat. Whoopi Goldberg got smoked from Mark Cuban and Obama because she don't necessarily agree with the direction of the Democrat Party, and she thinks that they need to continue to rail against Trump instead of actually putting out a better message for how their constituents would be able to benefit and then vote that way. Let me know what y'all think inside of the chat. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.